Boom. There I am.
There you is.
There I is. You like my little logo that I put in the top?
Yeah. It's looking sharp.
It's like I'm off center. It doesn't matter. But anyways, this is the spot where I would normally do my intro. I recorded an intro yesterday, but I don't feel good about it yet, and it's a YouTube intro. So, anyways, I also built a little ladder and blocks for the little avatars to climb on. So it's probably going to distract me at some point. Um, but yeah, here we are. Stream looks healthy, and see if I can find my slideshow. There it is. So what's up, man?
Ready to jump into this episode. There's some juicy stuff in here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. This episode is called "Daughter of the Night," which if you've never seen the show, then we get to find out who that is at the end. Uh, so like by character, these slides are in order. So Egwene and Elaine are in the tower working, and then I think this is right after Nynaeve gets out of the rings. I think. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. She's fresh out, still, I think, trying to piece back reality.
Yeah.
The two realities of what she just experienced.
This next slide I have is Elaine. I think they're making beer. Elaine knows how to make beer with the power, which is pretty funny to me. What really caught my eye about this slide is, have you seen the meme from Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke, where she makes the face like, really? And then it's
Oh yeah.
and
yeah,
then
I know what you're talking about.
Chris Hemsworth makes the same face in one of the Thor movies. I think we can add Elaine to the mix. I think I should have put those in there. Keep forgetting. So this is Egwene and Nynaeve. This is where Nynaeve is like trying to get Egwene to go, or just telling Egwene that she's going to Falm to save Perrin or whatever. I don't know what you want to talk about. If you give me something to talk about, I can probably find the slide for it because I took a lot.
Yeah. So what was going on your last slide was Egwene had walked in, or Nynaeve had walked in, Egwene and Elaine, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Walked in their room and basically told her to piss off, and she was like, "But this is my room," and Nynaeve was like, "I don't really give a shit." And so she's like, "Oh, I guess I'll." I don't remember what excuse. I think she was like, "Oh, I'll just go wash my cup or something."
Oh yeah.
But obviously, like eavesdrops on them, and then they start sneaking out whenever she tells them that she's going to Falda to go save Perrin.
Right.
And yeah, I don't remember if. Yeah, I mean it has to be like right before this. Egwene. I think not Egwene, but they spend some time on Nynaeve. Just going through her trauma, trying to reassimilate, I guess, back into the tower after being gone for years. Which, I mean, I think the show did the best they could showing that. Because obviously she has a daughter, she has a life built. You could see by her reaction, that she's really struggling. But man, I think you were saying that they spend more time on that in the book. Like she's essentially in the arches for like the majority of the book. And is that correct?
No, she. So the way the arches work in the book is that the memory of leaving the tower to go through the arch doesn't, like, they don't have that memory. They have memories pertaining to the scene that they're in when they pass through the arch. So they, like the scene where she's with Eleanor, her daughter. That same thing happens, but it's unclear if like she has the memories of Eleanor's life and her life with Lan as soon as she passes through the arches, and it's not disorienting, but like as far as her brain is concerned, she has lived her life up to that point, and so like the effect is the same, but I think the show actually did this better because um, they kind of hint that the arch tried to pull her back, and then she ended up living a life for a really long time, and then made it back out when it's not supposed to be like that. She was supposed to turn away from Lan and go back through the arch right away, and this was much more traumatic this way of her getting to where she has her daughter. But that's not quite the way it worked in the book. But I like that delivery better. It was more meaningful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all around, I enjoyed it. I just thought maybe from a previous conversation you had said that her time spent in the arches was a longer portion of the book than they really spent in the show. But maybe that was wrong. Maybe you were saying that it happens much later in the book.
What I was saying is that they spent more time on the, like in the book, they spent more time going through each arch, like what she had to deal with.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point I was trying to make was just that she had spent such a long time there, and they, it's hard to really show that in the grand scheme of the show. But yeah, I mean, I think she does a great job in really portraying that. You could see her really struggling when she gets back. And then going and talking with, or she would walk to go find her homies, the warders, Alana's warders, and they weren't there, but some different guy was, and he was low key trying to hit on her a little bit, I think, trying to slide in them DMs.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to Nynaeve's slides because we can definitely talk about it. I got to get over there.
I mean, I don't feel like a ton happened with her that was really juicy other than them leaving. I feel like this was a big Lan episode. And I got some questions about that. I think this was a good episode, showing kind of behind the scenes Ishmael and Lanfear. Yeah, I think it was that moment right there that you just had up. Slide before. Yeah, I think that's her looking at him like, I'm pretty good.
Oh yeah, the guy that's like asking if she wants to train with them or whatever.
Yeah. And he was like, I hope you don't choose red in the future or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, how about you don't make me throw up? So.
And then you see Leandrin can't keep from watching Nynaeve at every opportunity. The creep.
I feel like Nynaeve is kind of, oh man, I think if you were to take evil and good away, and you were just to look at somebody's personification or their like the way they act, I think that Nynaeve like almost emulates Leandrin. And this bold, arrogant personality that like crosses these boundaries, like social boundaries, in a way. I don't know. I really just like a very bullish attitude.
I think they are pretty similar. I think if I had to try to like draw the comparison, I think my take would be that they're both aggressive, but like if so, I would say that Leandrin is aggressive in an offensive way, like offense, and Nynaeve is aggressive in a defensive way. If I had to like try to draw comparisons between the two, if like does that make sense? Like Leandrin is aggressive, but she's like after people, and Nynaeve is aggressive, but usually it's like you're not going to do that to my friends. How dare you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not trying to say they're the same person. I just see the same kind of characteristics in each other. Like, one's offensive, one's defensive, but the key thing is they're both aggressive. That's
Yeah,
that's what I see is their shared similarity that way. And I feel like at this point you kind of see Leandrin's magic working a little bit on Nynaeve. I think she's really starting to get to her. Also, they have a really touching moment before they leave where she talks about, like her child and where she had to keep him hidden for all those years, uh, you know, to stop her adversaries from using him as a tool to get to her. And
right.
and I'm sure that goes for, foreign and domestic threats to herself.
Yeah. I mean this episode overall was really good, and I do like that they added her son to it. That none of that's in the book, but I like the fleshed out nature of who Leandrin is, and that not everybody's story is simple. Like they added some complexity to her that we didn't get to see in the book, and I want to like this is something that like I can accept this. This is good.
I didn't even know her son wasn't a real character.
If he is, it's such a blip that I don't recall. I I don't think it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's in there. Not to my knowledge.
Because he's a pretty important figure, not him himself, but just the detail of him in the show is a important detail, I feel, and gives her character a lot of purpose because of him, which I feel like adds depth, like you said, and complexity, but adds reason to the actions she's doing. Like for me, I see her as a dark friend, and I thought she was doing that to save her son, because that's what they say in the show. Was to like give him life. I'm pretty sure. Maybe they hint at it. Um, but man, yeah, if he's not in the book, then yeah, that kind of makes me feel like I really don't know her true reasons for being a Black Asha.
Um,
Question:
what's up?
how many Black Aja were in this episode?
I didn't count.
More than one?
Let me see if
Because Leandrin's one.
let me see if I can find any more of my screenshots. And we're not counting Forsaken, right?
No. Because I have suspicions about somebody, and it's somebody we've talked about. In fact, I had suspicions about two people, but I feel like I cleared one up on my own. And then the other person I have suspicions about, I feel like I've already told you their name, and you were like, they're not, but also they're portrayed in the show differently than they are in the book. So
Oh yeah, you're talking about Min.
no,
No.
or Min's not a Aja.
Oh, Black Aja. Oh, Black Aja only. Oh no, no, she's
Yeah,
not
Black
a
Aja.
she's not an Aes Sedai. I think we've seen a total of 3 Black Aja on screen at any given point so far. So like there's 3 for sure that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we go through, I'll bring up my suspicions.
Okay. Well, I'm on the Nynaeve slides, so I'm gonna skip to this note that she gets, and we don't get to see what the note says. I'm assuming it's some kind of information that, in hindsight, is like giving her instructions. That would make sense to me. And then she confronts Liana Sharif, the keeper.
Yes. This girl. She's who I have suspicions about, and I feel like I brought her to your attention before and you shot me down. And you said that she's portrayed a little differently in the book.
So all my memory of Liana is based on like things that happened later on in the series that I can't talk about. But at least in the book, she was never a dark friend. I don't know what they're gonna do with her here. I would be surprised if they made the effort. She is kind of sussy though. Like she's down in the arches with Leandrin and Shiriam. And now she's
ambitious.
Now she's ambitious. Now she's talking to Leandrin. You know, I'm the Amerlin when the Amerlin's not here. Like they have a little throwdown, and in this scene, yeah, I can see it. I can see the. I can see the argument that could be made.
Gotcha.
But
yeah, I knew we had talked about her, but just this whole conversation right here was what brought up suspicion for me.
Right. Yeah, where Leandrin is like threatening her.
Yeah. Well, where she was like, she was like, well, have you talked to the Amerlin seat, or like when was the last time you talked to her? And she was like, well, when I open my mouth, I speak with the Amerlin seat. And I was like, that's a hell of a thing to say.
Right.
For somebody who's not the Amerlin seat. So, and just like, in the past, she's kind of perked me up because she's just a very, I don't know, maybe a brash or stern personality.
Yeah.
She gives off that body language of like, I'm a bad bitch, and I fucking know it.
So, and this is like show interpretation versus the book and like the challenges that go with it. But a lot of what they're doing in the show is because of what they couldn't bring out of the book. Like in the books, the Aes Sedai are so far above everybody else inside the tower, and the Keeper, like as far up as like the Aes Sedai are above like the accepted and the novices. Like the Keeper is that much above the Aes Sedai. It's a very well respected position. It's got a lot of authority. We find out some more of like the political interactions later on, so it's not exactly the way I'm describing, but like when the Keeper speaks, like people listen, and when the Amerlin speaks, people listen, and this like snappiness with the Keeper in the beginning of the series would not fly. That's not something that would happen because like Liana could make her life miserable, and everybody knows it. You don't mess with the Keeper, you don't mess with the Amerlin, you don't mess with the Sitters, and nobody else messes with the Aes Sedai. So to have this interaction right here would raise a bunch of red flags with Liana if this scene happened in the book, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Like the authority,
that does make sense.
The authority levels are very, very strong in the books, and they're lined out well enough that it's like, oh my god, the Keeper's talking to me? Shit.
Yeah.
And that much more so with the Amerlin. Like the Amerlin, like you don't even want her to look in your direction. Like I don't want your attention at all. Leave me alone. So this kind of fighting didn't really happen until like much later. So I think that's part of why they're making Lyanna like beat her chest a little bit, like I'm the keeper. You know, I speak with the Amerlin's voice. That's understood in the books, and they had to make that same point here. But I mean, I did like this threat on like I'm not scared of you. You better watch out. You may fall with her.
Yeah.
So, we don't know what that means, but because I don't think we got a conclusion to any of this threat, by the end of the series. But it's a good
No,
threat.
not
I like
yet.
it. It's kind of scary.
Might be something that we jot down and bring up in the end, like after we do a season finale, like kind of go through as we go through the season, kind of keep track of unfinished plot points, and that gives us some direction to talk about where
That's a
we
good
think those are
idea.
going to go.
It's a good idea. Uh, I like that idea. We'll have to jot it down. Um, this is Leandrin going to have like a moment with Nynaeve, which I thought was, it was well done. I enjoyed it. A little personal connection to what's going on, and like I do have to say that the acting is really good for the most part. Like after watching Avatar and then kind of going back to the Wheel of Time, you can tell that these are much more mature actors, regardless of their age. They're good with embracing the character that they play, and I do appreciate that.
Definitely.
And then like right after, like I know how you feel. Nobody ever walks in here anymore after they've been through, and then she's like, by the way, we know where the Ogier is.
Yeah. So for me, that note that she got was definitely a letter from Ishmael,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
sent on his behalf from somebody that might not be able to be directly tied to him, because he, in the last episode, he spotted the Ogier and Perrin. I mean, he was literally traveling with Perrin.
It's a good point.
And then obviously we know that she works for him. I mean, maybe not up. Has it been? I don't think it's been revealed in the show yet at this point. I mean,
What's
it's pretty
that?
clear she's not a good person, that she's a Black Aja.
That's this episode that happens.
That's right. Uh, yeah, so just for me, it's so clear, and there's something that happens a little bit later in this show that makes me really suspicious of another Aja. It's because she gets a note in the exact same way. So I'm just gonna say it right now, so it's less confusing. So we see Leandrin get a letter. I
Mm-hmm.
believe it's from Ishmael, because as soon as she gets that letter, she goes and she starts planting seeds in Nynaeve, and she knows that if she plants something in Nynaeve, she's gonna take Egwene with her. You get that later on here in a minute, whenever she sees him escaping and she sees Elaine with him, and she's like, "Oh shit! Well, you're a complication. Like, I figured Egwene was coming. I didn't think you were."
Right.
Uh,
Right.
so that tells me that Leandra knew that those two were going to go. She knew where she was sending them and what she was doing. To me, that's what Ishmael wants, is them all to go to Falda. Uh, and yeah, I mean, it sets a lot of things up. And at the same time, another Aja gets a letter named Alana. And even when she reads it, Ishmael's voice speaking the old tongue is played on the show.
Hmm.
So that to me was like, okay, it's symbolic because it's almost like he's sending notes out to all of his little messengers to start manipulating things in the way that he wants. And for me, I just see Alana with this pale face when she reads it. And I was like, that seems a little symbolic. And then right after she opens it, you hear it, and even the subtitles say Ishmael reads Old Tongue.
Is
And I
that
remember I talked to you. Sorry, go ahead.
the letter that Lan grabbed out of Moraine's purse? Is that the scene
I don't know.
is that the scene that we're talking about?
Maybe it was. It ends up being the land fear
Oh yeah,
prophecy.
that's the letter that Lan takes out of Moraine's bag.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't piece that together that they had snuck in and taken that letter from Lan.
It's why Alana has suspicions about Lan, because they don't know where he got it from. Like
Gotcha.
like what's his face? The one of her warders like sees it with Lan and then takes it from Lan and shows it to Alana immediately. Because he's a little snitch.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I like where your head's at, especially with it. I didn't realize that Ishamael was reading that. I thought she read it, but no, that makes sense that it was him reading it out loud. That's cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, visually she reads it, but it is Ishamael's voice on screen.
Interesting.
Whispering Old Tongue. So. Okay.
So I don't know if I should confirm or deny any of these. Like we need to kind of get our mentality straight. Like if you want to make a hot take, I can jot it down. I hate for you to like say, is this person Black Aja, and then me be like, no.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I remember last time I came after Alana, you were like, are you high? And I was like, not at the moment, but things seem to be a little sussy with her at times.
Right.
Like she would be a very good character that would be somebody you would never suspect, because she is a big ally to Moraine, and her warders are big allies and close friends with Lan.
Right.
And that would be such a good plant to be close to Moraine and Lan and give information to the dark side, and they would never suspect it. They are also very eager and pushy when it comes to trying to get information out of Lan and Moraine.
Yeah, all good points.
I'm glad you cleared up that letter, because for me, I was like, how am I the only one seeing this?
Right.
It's literally Ishamael's voice on a letter that she just received. But it makes sense now that you pointed that out.
And her not being antagonistic. Like Leandrin is like pretty clearly not a good person, whether she's Black Aja or not. But Alana is agreeable, playful, flirty, like all the like you wouldn't if she is or isn't or had been or whatever been Black Aja, you'd never know because she doesn't show it, and that's honestly kind of scary. But I don't think the letter is anything that she got from Ishamael, because I think that's the one that she got from Lan, who got it from Moraine.
Now that you said that, it definitely makes sense.
Because
she started talking to him about the land fear prophecy, or warders.
Yeah. So I have these in like character order. And I can go to somebody else, or I can go over to Perrin. I don't know if you took any notes on Perrin.
Let me see. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot on Nynaeve. Like, she definitely had her moment. She left this episode with Egwene to go save Perrin.
Right.
And I believe it was Matt too, correct? She said it was 2 people. I should have wrote that down.
It's Perrin and Loyal.
Loyal, that's right.
The Ogier.
Yeah, do not really see much about Perrin. I mean, this is the whole Wolf Brother episode.
Yeah. Um.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got some juicy with this.
Okay. Hit me with it.
Yeah,
You want me to keep
Elias
going,
knew
or?
that they were going to be attacked and didn't fucking say anything.
Oh yeah, that's true. He did say that, or Perrin figured that out, right?
Yeah, because I guess the wolves um, had spotted them, the army moving in, and sent it to Elias.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, I think Perrin was pretty upset about it too, right?
Yeah, I would be pretty pissed too. You know, he lost his friend Uno. You know, everybody gets taken prisoner.
Yeah.
And Elias could have said something and they could have left. I would be pretty pissed. But to me, that further shows me that, gosh, I am off with my names. The guy that I've pretty much 99% confirmed as a
Ink
Black Aja in that group.
Inktar.
Ingtar. Ingtar. That makes me think Elias is well aware of him and or somebody else in the group.
Um.
Because he's repeatedly tried to pull Perrin away from them, tried to tell them like, hey, they're not your pack. And on the outside, like I think Loyal is a great friend to Perrin. They're all working together for a similar purpose.
Right.
Um, you know, like yeah, they might not be blood brothers, but like uh, I wouldn't say that there's a reason that Perrin should fear them unless Elias knows something. And
So
you know,
that
he did have an opportunity.
that makes me feel better about some of the things that they're doing in the show, because like the love-hate relationship with the readers watching the show is the like I fell into that same trap. This episode infuriated me because of some of the things that they said. But for you, it was a piece to the puzzle and something that you needed to try to like piece some of what's going on in reality. Like the story is being told a little differently, but you're finding out like pieces to the puzzle in a different way than I did. And um like like your take on Elias saying that's not your pack, like your take is probably the right one. My take on it was Elias never said that. That's not his mentality. He would never like tell Perrin you shouldn't be around people. It's but for you, like the only context you have of Elias is from the show, and it makes sense. And you're seeing it as Elias trying to protect Perrin in some way, and that is honestly that's a good take. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm definitely comes across. Um, you know, and it almost makes me think of like a close family member or like what a parent would do, where you know, they'll let things fall like around their kid or somebody that's close to them, and so everybody else gets removed from the situation, but they protect the one that's close to them.
Right.
Like Elias used this as an opportunity to rid Perrin of the group around him. Bad people and good people doesn't matter because Perrin's the only one that matters to him. Um, but the point is he gets Perrin away from the group without having to do it himself.
Right. No, I like
And
I like that. It's it's um it's not Book Elias, but I talked about that already. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but this show device to get Perrin away and build a bond with Elias is okay. I like what they did, and I like that you as a viewer are seeing that relationship. It's not they don't have quite as deep of a relationship in the books, but I like this a little bit better, especially since it's such a good tool. Like Elias is a really good tool to move things along with Perrin's arc.
Yeah. Which is surprising to me. I don't feel like they're very close. I feel like they're connected, but they're not close.
Hmm.
If that makes sense.
Well,
Um,
this is way closer than than anything else.
than they are in the book.
Yeah, they're they're close. They like Perrin goes to Elias a lot, but it's Elias is like living his best life as a wolf brother. He really doesn't care about events going on in the world. It's not really his thing.
Yeah, I got you.
So him being this involved is out of character, which is, everybody mad. That's why they're mad. Is Elias is the quintessential lone wolf. I don't need anybody else. He's got his puppies. And
Yeah, which Hopper makes his debut.
yeah, he does. Trying to I like the Elias eating raw meat.
Shit looks so gross.
I'm pretty sure that's painted watermelon. I saw somewhere that if you're like trying to do steak or beef or something like that, painted watermelon is a good substitute.
Okay.
I was also trying to verify this in the book somewhere. I'm just gonna say that it's unknown at the moment. It might be true. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read these books. That's a very specific detail that doesn't matter. But I did like
really all I had on Perrin. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh well, I've got this one where Elias says we don't go near women who can channel, as the reasoning why he didn't follow Perrin and Egwene like they did in the books. Why he just sent the wolves to like usher them to where the Tinkers were at. Is because Moraine is too close by. which is a stretch because it all that plays out, but at least he explains it, and like that's all I really cared about. Was as long as they give me a reason, I'll latch onto it. And then I try to get really hard to get a picture of these because they're just like very brief, but I like the way they portray
long neck.
He's a long boy. But yeah, that's Hopper jumping, and I like the way they did the special effects for this with the buck that runs by and any of the visions that they have. I enjoy that a lot. They put a lot of thought into how to portray a difficult concept.
Yeah. It seems very similar to Men's Powers, the way that they portray it. These visions. Same kind of filter, same kind of translucence see to it.
Yeah. No comment. It's part of one of my biggest theories that I've ever thought of pertaining to this book.
Okay, so I just picked up breadcrumb 1 of that conspiracy theory.
Yes. It's not really a conspiracy, it's just a mechanics theory, like how the world works.
Yeah.
A lot of people have trouble grasping or theorizing how a lot of things work in the book, and like the what Perrin can do and what Min can do, I think are related. So I can't really I can't explain any more or add any more stuff to it because it'll start spoiling like stuff that happens later on. But I think those two are related. So the fact that you see some sort of connection at all is giving me hope. My next character is Rand. So if you're done with Perrin, I can either go to Rand or I can drop back to Lan and Moraine, or whatever you want to do.
I think it'd be better to do Lan first because Rand is going to kind of lead into the big point in the show, the grand finale.
Okay, give me a second. I gotta go through these slides and get to Lan.
There's also something that I noticed is Ishamael, when he was breaking land fear free, he was using green weaves. And I feel like that's the first time I've seen green weaves. So, can you remember a different time? There you go.
So I have a section called Forsaken.
Okay.
'Cause I enjoyed this. This intro is probably like, regardless of whether it's book accurate or not, I enjoyed this intro immensely. I like the visuals. I like the creepy vibes, the channeling that's involved. Like all of this is well done, regardless of accuracy. And that's
it was fun. It got me thinking.
Yeah, it's got me thinking too. I've got theories for the rest of the show series based on this scene. So here we have a seal, and here's the weaves you were talking about, the greenish, the green weaves. We've seen green from Alana when they're filtering out the water, and we also see green. Like green is just earth. I think it's just an earth weave.
Okay.
So here he is breaking it, and that has interesting implications. So, and then we get a creepy blood lady.
Dog. This shit was so well done.
Yeah, creepy.
Like the Forsaken in this, the way this episode starts and the way it ends, like, I honestly might be the best start and the best ending to any episode they've done in the entire series.
This one was done exceptionally well. Like I think the struggle that I had with this episode was more from some of the decisions they made to change the mechanics away from the books. But as far as like how the show was done, it was done like super well. Like it was great. Like everything that was shot, all the dialogue, all the like, especially this focus on the Forsaken, and like you said, like this is the opening scene, and then how the show ends for this episode is fantastic. Like ugh. I think he like kisses her hand too.
Yeah.
Oh, I when I was on my rant, I went and pulled the books. This is the entire verse. So it's 4 or 5 ish slides. I didn't know if you were interested in that, but like it's like what they read in the show is from directly from the book, and it's a larger passage. Like this is all they read, I think, and then it continues. Um,
He, he said the blood feeds blood, blood calls blood, blood is and blood was and blood shall ever be.
right, but
I thought Ishmael said that.
right, but Alana is reading the note, and that's what this note says. Daughter of the night,
Oh
she
yeah,
walks
yeah. I didn't
again.
go through the whole thing.
Yeah, and anyways, it
So when I was talking earlier about Ishmael reading this passage, I'm not talking about when you were saying she reads this passage. It is a very minute detail. When you hear Ishmael's voice reading Old Tongue, it is when she looks at the note and no one is talking. It is like Ishmael is whispering in the background in Old Tongue as she reads this prophecy.
huh. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go find that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's right whenever she gets the note, she pops it open, and as she's like her eyes are crossing the passage, it's Ishmael's voice is very minute, but it's there. And if
like,
you have the subtitles on it, it'll say Ishmael reads like an Old Tongue.
huh? That's interesting. I like that. What a cool
Yeah,
touch.
that's what added to my suspicion.
Right. Maybe that's just their way of saying that he's the one that wrote it or something, or that's who it's relevant to. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to go pull that little clip up and take a look at it. I'm too chicken to do it on stream, but I do technically have the episode. Um, but
We can continue.
yeah. So I'm looking for all this stuff to happen. But anyways, after the Forsaken is Lan. That's what I have. That's what I have next. You said you wanted to talk about Lan a little bit.
Yeah, I felt like there was some good points in this episode. I'm just trying to pull up the whole Daughter of the Night. I was gonna try pulling it up, but yeah. So the notes. Let's see what I got on Lan. He's living his best life as best he can in his Jesus moment.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Alana brought up. Yeah, dog. He looks like Asian Jesus right
Oh
there.
yeah, right here.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Just like light shining behind him, his little headband. I can't get over it. Uh, Alana mentioned Cat Swain's name again in this episode.
I
So
think I have a slide of that.
it's whenever she's telling Lan that Nynaeve is going in the arches. She's like, that's the fastest I guess anybody's done it since Cat Swain.
Yeah, here it is. So to me, that means that Cad Swain is going to be in season 3. That's what that means to me. You name drop somebody that many times, you're either bringing her in next episode or I mean next season, or you're gonna increase the amount of times you name drop and bring her in at the end of season 3. This is one of like my theories that I want to kind of flesh out
Yeah.
for what happens in season 3. My hot takes.
And then I wholeheartedly agree with you. Another thing that Ilana said, she dropped a whole lot in this episode, I feel. She said something happened to Moraine 20 years ago that changed her. And I don't have the backstory on Moraine, but that stood out to me that she brought that up. Explaining to Lan, what you think of Lan being the closest person to Moraine and knowing anything and pretty much everything about her. But Alana's telling him, yet, there's a Moraine or a side of Moraine you don't know. And she kind of lost it 20 years ago. Now, I don't know if you as a book reader know what happened to her or not.
I mean, we know that, like, we both know that that was when the prophecy from the Aes Sedai that died in Moraine's arms. That's when that prophecy came out.
Okay, so that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
Rand is 20. That
Yeah.
like the times line up with what Alana is saying and what happened, and like even in the episode where Moraine witnesses the Aes Sedai have the prophecy, right before the prophecy, Moraine and the Amerlin are giggly and kissy
Yeah.
and all that, and then after that, Moraine's like stone faced, serious all the time, even when she talks to Swan. So, I mean that to me that's what that event is. I mean, it could be something else, but
No, that makes sense. And even whenever we saw that, Anna said that as well, that it was probably that moment. And I thought it could be as well. I just wasn't for sure.
right.
Um,
That's
and
what
also,
I think.
I didn't think that the kids were technically 20 years old. I thought they were younger.
Um,
But
well,
definitely, that
Rand
sounds
is
right.
20.
Gotcha.
I don't know about anybody else.
Also, I liked I don't know how you say his name. Is Maxon?
Oh, I have no
I think
idea.
that's her warder. Yeah, that's Alana's warder, the blonde one.
They're both her warder. The
Yeah, but Maxon is the blonde one.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So his approach with Landon, helping kind of guide him or lead him to a way that he could formulate a way back to Moraine, was interesting this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I like the touch because I think that's this scene here where they're kind of at the well, and he's trying to do his best to talk to Lan and get him to open up a little bit, and then give him a little bit of advice, and then right after that they have this like meditation session, and like Maxon or whatever his name is immediately gets uncomfortable and walks away. um, but yeah, I do like the relationship building. We don't get to see a lot of warder interactions, so this is, to me, this is nice. I like to imagine that that's what it's like, and we just don't get to see it because we're looking at it from the outside, in the book at least. So my last landslide is with this, where she sees that it's a prophecy in the old tongue, and I guess this is the spot where you can hear Shamael's voice in the background.
No,
No,
before this.
before this.
I'm pretty sure it's daytime. Pretty sure it's daytime.
Huh. Okay.
Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. If I can, I'll give you the specific minute that it happened. But I don't want to stop you from going. I'll do it in the background.
Okay. Well, I only have 4 slides of Matt because there's not a whole lot going on. Like Matt and Min are kind of chopping it up and having a good time and gambling and all that, and then I think Min goes to.
Oh no!
What's that? You all right? My
Just buffering.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm good.
my stream quality took a nosedive. It didn't disconnect, but it did hit the dirt. It's still doing it. My Discord is telling me things that are bad are happening.
It's me.
It's not you, bro.
Might be my connection with you is getting strained.
It's not you. It's on my end because
Okay.
my stream and my Discord are both um, not doing well. They're holding on for dear life. I am about to be disconnected, I feel. That's what I think's gonna happen. There it goes. Super fun. I love it. At least I can test my audio if I can find my headphones. Here they are. I don't know what I sound like. And I don't know what the delay is. It's probably like 5 seconds or more. That delay is huge. Wow.